go again.
On today's tour, I'd like to welcome you to Foster, Rhode Island, which is mostly this.
So, my journey today takes me to Molehill. Molehill is outside the borders of Connecticut in Rhode Island and is the highest point in the state. And you would think that that would call for some sort of parking lot or small parking area, but no, there's just this looks like old abandoned house on the side of the road highway thing. So I'm going to assume I'm not going to get towed away and hope for the best. Now we're going to seek out, oh, not yet. Perhaps, maybe I'm not the only one trying to get here today. Crud. Maybe they just live here. I don't know. And now seems like the best of times to go.
After avoiding the danger in the road, my quest had begun, which needs some quest music.
Molehill, this way.
After a few minutes of popping logs and dodging trees, I found that I had a problem. As beautiful as the scenery is, I felt like I really wasn't getting anywhere.
So after about walking maybe 5 minutes or less, I came up on this little clearing, and I just wanted to make sure, we're looking for Molehill, right? And I'm like, surely all the signs led me to this little clearing, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just a little stopover until we finish. And then I started to walk around and search, and now this is it. Yep. This is the hill, right here. I suppose there's some more trails that go down through here, which I'm probably not gonna take on today. I'm assuming this is Mr. Jeremoth's house. Looks like Mr. Jeremoth built some, well, it's either his wife's she shed or maybe some in-laws' quarters. Spatially distanced from his house over there in that corner, as we can see. So I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this. I've been walking around this little clearing now for a long time, and I noticed, you can see that. I'm assuming these are either crop circles or someone has left us the giant number 8 for whatever reason. Regardless, I'm gonna get out of here before a missile strike. Look, I suppose if you were super interested in joining this guild of high pointers or whatever they call it, in my opinion, this is where you should start. I mean, it's on the highway. You're already on your way somewhere. You stop, you park, you walk maybe 5 minutes, and you're here. You've reached the highest point in Rhode Island, the highest point that there is. Given there's not much here, but you're here.
Conveniently tethered in the corner of this clearing is an ammo can set up by the High Pointers Foundation. It contains odds and ends as well as a journal, where hikers can make their mark in the annals of High Point history.
Alright, so I'll admit, Molehill for the most part is underwhelming. It's only about 812 feet above sea level, so comparatively among its other states and their high points for the High Pointers Association, it's like a baby. It ranks 45th compared to all the states held together. However, in the 1980s, Molehill was probably the most difficult peak to reach. See, there was a man named Henry Richardson who bought the land which Molehill was located on, and he put up no trespassing signs and motion detectors, and he was willing to prosecute anyone who came on the land. So for the longest time, that really bald spot kind of on this Rhode Island landscape was inaccessible to the High Pointers Club, as small as it was. It wasn't until the 1990s when Richardson finally dropped all of his protections on the land, and finally it was sold to new owners, and the High Point Association finally got it registered, and now it's accessible to any High Pointers ever. On a scale of high points, it's probably not the biggest. It's probably not the most grand or has the best view. I mean, you're literally standing there looking at a shed. However, it was the least accessible for the longest time. And I'm thinking that as far as humanity goes, that's kind of how we look at all high points. You see, we always are looking for the biggest ones, and we're always looking for the grandest view in our lives and our high points, what we consider to be valuable. But sometimes the small victories, the small days, the small things that make us happy are the least accessible to us, because sometimes people don't want you to acknowledge those, or sometimes the enemy doesn't want you to find those small victories. So sometimes the smallest hills and the smallest high points become the hardest for us to reach.
After braving the highway again, and upon further reflection, I started to think. We are the only creatures that ascribe size to victory. We try to decide whether a victory in our lives is small or big. But when you believe in a God who has all power, who's never lost a battle, hey, victory is just victory.